18. Chapter 18, the character. Every fiction has its characters. Then, to know the character, it's very important to understand what the story is. And first, what is the character? From percent. The character is an individual in the story. Individual. This is the character, individuals in the story. The story is a word, characters of operation. Okay? Think the story of Rakuten. Therefore helps the formula's daughter pretend to spin a doll into a gold and then demands her firstborn child in return. The Rumpelstiltskin is the miller's daughter with the firstborn child. They are old characters. Okay? This story can focus on less in action and more on the characters that with performance action are affected by learning and analyze and understanding characters. We can better understand all the other elements of the story and author's overall message. So, when I see the characters, there will be message for them. Next page. The types of the characters. There are several types. The central and secondary characters. Central. Central character and secondary character. Central character is one of the characteristics that story focuses on. The secondary character does not receive the most attention in the story. So, in this case, the central character focused on. Most, not the Then, in central and secondary character, there is another category to find. That is main character, protagonist, and antagonist. Main character, then protagonist, and antagonist. So the most important character is the main character. The main character can be the person, the animals, the supernatural objects, or anything complex like this. And there must be on the main character, however, where the main character is always the central focus on the story. Then here's another way to look at it. It's a protagonist. It's one of the leading figures. The story is often champions, or the book and works, solve the main conflict in the story. So, protagonist. Solve the problem. This is the protagonist. And what's the antagonist? It's a character who can comes into conflict. So, the protagonist and the antagonist is the opposite way to have the main character. Sometimes the protagonist is the main character, but not always. Kind of the group and the side. The antagonist must be the main leader. Okay? Yeah. Here's an example. Okay, so page 88, an example of Odyssey. To focus on the adventures of Odyssey, the central character, people and creatures, and meet along in the way the secondary characters. Then page 89, to kill a mockingbird by the apple tree, the main character is caught. Most of the stories about her and what she thinks and feels. However, many readers will be Atticus. Her father is a protagonist and is one of the roots for the conflict in the story. However, this protagonist and the main character are the same. Another example, the Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling. Harry was the protagonist, the main character, in the book. Therefore, in the Harry form, the moment he learns he is a wizard, and his 11th birthday is commanding battle with the three stories and parents. Lord Voldemort. Okay, originally there must be the name. Yeah. He who must not be named. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Frank and Ron Catcher. Frank and Ron. What a Frank character. Ron for the stand up and just a few lines with many details of the village. So, can be summed up. There are many example or explanation. The one character is one has a lot of depth. This is a long character. Here's an example. The winged wings of the West in a friendly character and the one that was that of Oz. We never learned much about her and why she acts the way she does, but in the novel it must do musical work. Then she is a long character. We learn a lot about her story and her feeling. Next page, 191. Sympathetic and unsympathetic characters. Sympathetic and unsympathetic. Let's do another one. Sympathetic character, one who can relate, and unsympathetic character that is not will have much sympathy for. So, the sympathy has the right. Not much. That's it. As an example, most of us will probably be sympathetic to the character for his mission of rescue the puppies. Much was feel unsympathetic toward the character who want to steal their family's new puppy. Yeah? So, write it and very sympathetic is to read that, just read it. And unsympathetic is very far from the real. That is not much. Now, come on. Page 92. Dynamic and static characters. Dynamic and static. The dynamic character is one which changes during the course of a story. The static character doesn't change. So, the easier way to think out is the yes, go, ages, go, Israel. This is a dynamic. And static, same, yeah, and eternal, same age. So no age change. That is the dynamic and static. This is an example. When did the dynamic characters appear? Either Peter Pan or the boy wouldn't grow up. She runs and go up to the Peter Pan as a static character because no matter what happens, he doesn't change any age. He's always the boy. And these words are summed up in page 119 and 3. The central, secondary, protagonist, antagonist, supply, form, sympathetic, unsympathetic, dynamic, and static. These are the characters categories to summarize them. Next phrase. The narrator as a character. Narrator as a character. Narrator also tells the story. Sometimes the narrator also a character who acts in the story. So, usually the character has its name and an active move and a word in the story, then speak by himself or herself. However, sometimes only the narrator can tell the story and what happens, what comes and someone do it. Then the famous example is the Ishmael and Moby Dick. Ishmael is the narrator of the Moby Dick. Now he tells the character who experienced the whole story of the chasing the great white whale. Then World of the Ocean is not the main character in the action of the story, but tells the tale. So, this is narration point of view. Then remember 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That can be the first person narrator. First person. Then another second. Second person narrator and third person narrator. Then first person would be then I or we. Second, of course, this is you. The third, he or she or it. That can be the main character as if that was the real person's name. So, on this page, the narration and the point of view. In a narrative, the point of view is the perspective from the much story told. And which is a fictional story, it is told from the point of view of the narrator. There are three common types of narrative fiction. Number one, the first person narrator. Narrator is also the character in the story, and tells from his or her point of view. The first person narrator tells you also the first person. He refers to the character as I or we, or me or us. Next page. The author might choose the first person if they want the story that's told from a single point of view, and if those things and feelings and narrative the viewpoint in a story. Example number 2. I was born in a small mountain and called the Niagara River. That is the second one. Then the second person narrator will tell the story as, for example, you says of you and yours. Then authors can choose the second person narration if they want to read it strongly relate to their story, then giving the reader specific instructions. So, for example, in Japan, there comes to the earthquake or the tsunami, then in that time, you must redo and you should do that as you. Then example number 3, you probably never see the term place that was quite beautiful as a severe mountains and town of the river. Then the third personality is not the first, not a character in the story. The narrator is the story that the third person, as he or she was there. That is narrator character. Let's go on to the next page. The third person narrator from the point of view of the omniscient, which means the narrator knows all the time. Then another is omniscient. Point of view, here this omniscient character must know everything. Then, and in fiction, the place A, that's what happens, place B, what happens, and place C, what happens. And usually, any character of every place A does not know place B does not know place C. However, when the kind of a God's point of view, then every place what happens we know. That is the omniscient. Example, the Sebastian Smith was proud of friend and on the small mountain town in Rhodia. Then his older sister, Jacobia, was known. Why they can know this? Usually, there must be a lot of information to decide the character, but omniscient can decide as if they were the God from the heaven. So omniscient, no. The character point of view is here we see our perspective. Then what the character sees or thinks about, then author can develop and show the character's point of view in several different ways. So, an author can develop it. Next page 97. What the character said expresses indirectly. Just completely make glasses of the water and he finishes all the ice out before he drinks it. This is the way. Perhaps Jimmy doesn't like anything that is cold or ice. And what any character is saying in relation to the character, just said, oh, I forgot that your tea is sensitive to the cold. That is the relationship, the indirectly. Next one, number 3. Constructing characters. Contrasting characters. One way the character wants to develop the characters as this contrast, then reader can see their differences to find them more clearly. So, contrast makes it easier to understand which is good, which is bad, which is high and which is low. And by contrasting, we can easily understand what the story is about. Especially the colleague or enemy, that's very easy. An example, Amy is a very protective character, and she may not have much reason to show this. Unless they also introduce Jessica, who tries to be very friends, Talia. Suddenly, Amy has someone to protect, someone to stand up. If Jessica went mean to Talia, then we might never learn how the protective Amy is. Amy's protective qualities also highlight Jessica's aggressiveness. Then Jessica back from the CS account. Well, she learned something nicer and after Amy stands up to her. Unless Amy and Jessica really comply to each other, we might never find out either again. So, these two characters are kind of the opposite. So it's very positive and very passive. Or very aggressive and very calm. That's a big contrasting. Then the contrasting characters create effects. Then the effect is a humor. And suspense. About the humor, Bob and Jack together stick and tiny cable car and that is traveling on the wires above the amusement park. Bob is terrified of the height and cannot wait to get down, but Johnson is already comfortable and ready to spend a lavish lunch and provisions on his back. So, in this case, the author creates the contrast and the reaction makes the sound of fine. The surprising old couple is appearing, so we often see on them the Sierra and Carlton. So, in this case, the humor is Bob and Johnson. Bob and Johnson. And in this case, Bob is terrified. So, Bob is terrified. And Johnson is totally comfortable. Johnson is totally comfortable. So, that's a big difference. Next page 199 about suspense. 10 days and married two girls. live next to a door than each other. The guy keeps their place incredibly neat and multiplies always mess. Oh. In this case, candy. Candies and melon. And why candies go out of those week? She asked Mary over the things. Just what do the pants? Then but movies decided the pants they must be long, so she spent hours over the chemical space. And while Candice is gone, that makes the place total mess. So, before the Mary and James will clean up, Candice decided to come to Aaron. So, this is the characteristic also opposite. Then, going to next point. Character and plot change. And plot. This is another. Why the character changes? Why the plot changes? Some person at the beginning very calm, then later aggressive. Or plot. At first it was this love story, then plot changes to love suspense. Don't have a change. Okay, then why do this? That is another way to learn things of a character is a plot. Okay? So the subsequence of the English plot change the plot twist. This is also called the plot twist. Then, why is that? Then the example. There are two characters, Kristen and Laura. And Laura. They both were in the same block, attend to the same school, and love science, exactly the same. But then, a spaceship crashes on the end of town. Their residents began to come down with a mysterious disease. Then Laura is terrified and decides to stay at home. Laura will continue. Then, get back to the thing. The person wants to help. He works in the biological and at school, and she helps discover the cure. So, this person works. And there's a difference. Page 201. Until the plot changes, one question seems to be the same. Then after that, the plot changes. And we see that there was a big difference. Okay? This is often the case, there's some big accents before and after. The easy example is war or the atomic bomb in Hiroshima. This before and after, the people really change in their life. Some accident happens, they change the person. Then another one is a similar character, different stories. Similar but different story. So not always the same character do the same things. And then story by story, they depend on the changes vary. Then here's this is a different types of the text may equal the similar characters. However, because of traditional character genre, little characters come from classes differently. So we compare the similar characters to explore the differences. So find the difference might be much more clear what the characters are. Here's an example. The main character in Sherlock Holmes' Johnny I is an orphan named Jane Eyre. Then similarly, the Maxwell Locke's orphan and Francis Wilson Basman, Secret Garden. Both books tell the coming of age story. Coming of age. Okay, grow up. However, the books cover different genres. Jane Eyre is a mix of a mystery and a romance novel. The Secret Garden would be called realistic fiction. When we compare to the contrasting characters, we can see how the genres encompass different characters, genres in a drastic manner, because we're both in a dark mystery with lots of suspense. Has dreams that sees the future and falls in love. Mary also lives on Mala, full of the secrets, where she discovers a family member who she never knew she had. The cousin is back, she nurses back to the health, and they build a strong friendship while exploring the honest garden. That is the story. And here's an example of the Charles Bronze, the Angel Eyes, and the stories, and the other one will be the sequence one. So, the same character or a similar character, but different stories. There's not much time, so we finish this on next page. 204, these comparisons. Both are the young and girls and orphans, whether the people in love with their families, and was not considered pretty and a premium. But contrast. Jane has a sense of dread. However, Mary, no fear. Then Jane grew up in modest means, then Mary grew up rich. Modest means poor also. Then this one has this lifestyle and the fancy lifestyle. Fancy one not. The last one is not used to getting her own way, is getting used to getting her own way. So my way or this the other way. This is a very big comparison. Then contrast. Today we do not have time to check the knowledge, and this can be your homework maybe. Then here's the 10 questions. 1 to the 9 is enough. Okay, these are the story about the characters. There are a lot of characters, and the orientation red, one is blue ones. So these are the ways we have to know, and especially the orange is number 1 very important. This is the white one, the second, the wrong time. Okay, so as much as possible, you understand these ways, and it's useful for the reader of books, and especially non-fictions, that's the stories. Alright, that's all for today. Thank you very much. See you next time.